8 people are injured in what the FBI is calling a targeted terror attack in Boulder, Colorado. This is the man police have identified as the suspect. Investigators say 45-year-old Mohamed Sabry Soliman yelled, "Free Palestine," when he attacked a group of people gathered to call for the release of the Israeli hostages held by Hamas. The FBI says Soliman used makeshift flamethrowers and Molotov cocktails.
It was very strange to just hear a crash on the ground of a bottle breaking, and then it sounded like a boom, and then people started yelling and screaming.
Archbishop Samuel Aquila of the Archdiocese of Denver released a statement after the attacks saying, "I'm deeply saddened this evening to hear of the attack in Boulder, especially as it seems our Jewish brothers and sisters were targeted. This type of violence must come to an end as it only fuels hatred." And joining us now is Ben Cohen, a senior analyst at Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Ben, thank you for joining us. What does this attack in Boulder, Colorado signify to you?
Well, good to be with you, Catherine. I think what it signifies for me is that we are dealing with a surge in anti-Semitism, both in the United States and globally. And the concrete result of that is that Jewish communities outside Israel are now extremely vulnerable. They have become a front in what is a multi-front war. You know, Hamas launched this war on Israel with its massacre of October the 7th in 2023. We've seen that war spread to Lebanon, to Yemen, to Iraq. Israel has to deal with all these Iranian-backed proxies, but there's another proxy, if you like, a Hamas proxy, which are these demonstrations, the Palestine solidarity movement that has emerged over the last 18 months. And increasingly, that movement is now turning to violence.
On that point, Ben, this attack comes less than 2 weeks after an Israeli couple was shot and killed in Washington, D.C. And in both of these cases, the attackers shouted, "Free Palestine." Do you think, Ben, that these are separate attacks, or is there a bigger connection there?
They maybe have been coordinated separately. I have no evidence of coordination between these different attackers, but ideologically and politically they are intimately linked. I think you could also add that just a month previously, in April, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, his mansion was attacked by an assailant who was also shouting "Free Palestine." This was on the first night of the Passover holiday. His family, his wife and children were in the mansion at the time. Yesterday's attack in Boulder took place on the eve of Shavuot, which is another Jewish holiday. So yeah, this is an extremely worrying situation. And when we hear demonstrators chanting, "Globalize the Intifada," or more crudely, "We don't want no Zionists here," the Jewish community has been interpreting that as a violent message for months. Those concerns have not really been addressed properly, and now we saw the fruit of that, sadly, in Washington recently, and we saw it again in Boulder yesterday.
As you've been saying, studies have shown there has been a significant rise in anti-Semitic incidences over the last 10 years. Speak to why you think that is.
Look, I think anti-Semitism is at least a 2,000-year-old virus, and it's not very original in terms of its ideas. It's essentially a crude, ugly conspiracy theory. But anti-Semitism and anti-Semites are very good at adapting that ideology to fit different circumstances. And what we're seeing now is this presentation and this demonization of Israel as the world's worst rogue state, and that if only Israel wasn't there, we would have some kind of global peace. Many of the people that have become extremely animated about the Palestinian issue don't care about human rights issues elsewhere. They're not interested in Ukraine. They're not interested in Sudan, where there is an appalling famine raging right now. They're just picking on this Palestinian issue because it's a way to channel that historic hatred of Jews.
Ben
and
Cohen.
It arises in every generation, unfortunately.
Ben Cohen, we appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.